Hi, I want to talk to you about the media. The media is this all encompassing, blobby, ever present, noise making. I'm thinking about saying influencer. And the reason I paused on that, it is an influencer, but I don't like it being the influencer that it is. You should be your own influencer. It often happens, in conversation, particularly in these times. You might talk about something, let's say political, and depending on who you're talking to, they may say, "Where do you get your news? What news? What news do you watch? What outlets do you watch?" And it seems like it's a fair question because we all understand what's behind that. Basically, wherever you get your news, you're going to be pretty much confined, or the idea is that you're somehow confined by only thinking the way that the news that you watch or that you absorb is the way you're going to think ultimately. And it sort of makes a certain amount of sense that that's true, and it's true actually in a lot of circumstances, but it's not necessarily true. I think asking somebody where you get your news is like asking somebody who's in a cloud storm, standing, as it's raining, pouring down a lot, and saying, "Where do you get your weather information?" We already come, or we should, if we're somewhat fully formed adults, we come with our own understanding and perspectives, and we pay attention to the news, to the media outlets that where we get information that we're interested in. And I would hope, even though it may be a hope beyond hope, that people don't come to a news outlet as a blank slate, and they only will know what the news is telling them. I come at news, even the people I respect and follow and have a track record that I think is very credible. I still listen with a critical ear, and I listen to, are they capturing what I think is the essence of the story? A lot of times you'll hear a story and they're talking about some aspect of it, but they're actually missing the essence, or what I consider the essence of a story. So news consumption really is interactive. That it should be intellectually interactive. You not necessarily have to talk directly to the people who are giving you the news. Although sometimes I mutter to myself if I'm reading something or watching it on TV. But the point is, I'm interacting in it. I'm not a blank slate, and so the that means that like where do you get your news is not really the most efficient or accurate question to understand someone. If you write them off just because they, let's say, only watch CNN or MSNBC or NBC or Fox, you're making a mistake. I mean, the mistake is potentially that there may be more to how this person consumes their news and their information than you understand. Oftentimes, in talking about any particular controversial issue, I'll make a statement about how I see things, and it may be based on, it's based on data, it's based on facts. And oftentimes I consider the facts, pretty well accepted, and invariably it seems, you can relate a fact. And if you're talking to somebody who has a different perspective on yours, what happens is they say that's not true. And then you have to play this exercise of, well, where did you get that news? Who said that? It's frustrating. It's frustrating, and there seems to be a blockage with how we can discuss and be involved in discourse on really important issues. And it's very reliant on how, not on the media per se, but it's reliant on how we consume the media. I probably spend more time watching media that I disagree with than the media that I consider credible. There's a lot of reasons. I think it should be obvious. I want to know what the other side of the way I think, or where I think the problems are, and I think they're being blown in a direction that's destructive. I want to see how they present. I'm really interested in it. I know my positions much better by seeing what the other positions are. So, oftentimes if I am asked, what do you listen to? I sort of hesitate a little bit and say, well, it's complex. I don't say, well, I watch Fox, or I watch or listen to certain podcasts, or I watch CNN. I don't say that. I say, well, it's a good question, but it's complicated. And what I do is I try to canvass the essence of what I think the media is putting out there. And I said, I do it I'm trying to do it with an open mind, but having an open mind doesn't mean I don't come in with preconceived notions. And all of my preconceived notions, I'm willing to have challenged. But, if you're going to challenge it, if an entity, person, a media outlet's going to challenge my preconceived notions, I want to hear what the good case can be made that my preconceived notions aren't the best way of looking at things. So I predict that in this era of great turnaround, great upheaval in political alliances, political I'm thinking about the divide. I think it's more complicated than it just being a divide. But the upheaval that we're experiencing in this era, this Trump era, I don't think this would have happened if Trump wasn't elected. That there's a lot that's being stirred around. And I think, I predict that the media is going to go through some changes. I think that there's going to be some media outlets that are going to claim a position to provide data and information to deal with a lot of these problems that I'm raising. I mean, we have in social media, for example, a lot of controversy about how major outlets, you know what I'm talking about, whether it's Google, Facebook, or YouTube, and Twitter, that is their approach to the media and political information and disinformation. They've taken a stance, and there's a great question. I mean, I wrote about it in my book. Here it is, Loose Grip. I deal with the idea that these media outlets are private companies, but if they operate in such a way that they're like a public utility, and then they exercise certain editorial control. Are they a utility, or are they a publisher? Well, that has ramifications for where they go from here and how we take in their platforms. And because of all of this, I think that there's going to be other platforms. And that's the free market. That's a good thing. I'm eager to see what kind of platforms may come. Some are already knocking at the door. Some are up and going. I think we're going to see a lot of changes in this area. And so the whole issue I was bringing up here is the media and you know, and it should never be that you're only what you watch or consume in the media. There's the media, and then there's what you make of it and how you utilize it and how you distill it toward hopefully what I would want for all of us is greater and greater sensibility and refinement in understanding. So I'll leave you with that now. And as always, best to you in all good things.